Of elected officials, that'd be lawmakers. They were back making laws, or trying to, early this morning at the Capitol in Boise. Let's bring in Joe Paris now, because we are told that this is kind of the time where we're getting down to the last few days. I think it's still kind of March 22nd that they're hoping to get out of town.
Yeah, we're in crunch time, and especially as you just highlighted with the primary election season just looming so closely. So yes, as Brian just mentioned, the goal is to be done by March 22nd. In the meantime, though, Idaho lawmakers are now doing two-a-days. That means they're going to meet in the morning and in the afternoon. In the House and the Senate, they did that, and I believe actually the Senate just got back to work at 4:30, so late afternoon. But major debate in the Idaho Senate today on how the Idaho National Guard should be used, specifically by the federal government. The Defend the Guard Act was debated in the Senate today, and it prohibits members of the Idaho National Guard from being sent into active duty combat unless the United States Congress has declared war or explicitly called for the Idaho National Guard under Article 1 of the Constitution. Legislative sponsors say that the proposal does allow the governor to still agree for deployments for defense support or civil authority missions within the United States. And yes, sponsors say they can still maintain their training regiments. But the United States has actually not had a declaration of war from Congress since 1942. Yes, that was World War II. So all action the U.S. has taken in places like Vietnam, Korea, the Middle East, they're not technically wars. And supporters of the idea, it says that it forces Congress to do their job, declare war if they need to send Americans to dangerous areas.
How do you get a Congress to actually have the guts to stand up and not just point at the military and say, well, the military failed, the soldiers failed. We haven't had that kind of commitment in this country since World War II. And yet we've lost thousands and thousands of our best. Thank you, Mr. President.
So critics question if the proposal would actually, though, take valuable resources away from Idaho and what message this also sends to the rest of the country. There's also questions about if the proposal would put Idaho behind if there was a declaration of war made.
This hamstrings us from being able to participate in the prelude to that conflict. And it means that the Idaho National Guard is going to be allocated differently than it would if it was able to participate. The effect of this bill, the practical effect of this bill, it's my belief, will be that we don't get a seat at the table. Talk to the National Guard.
So the legislation passed 27-8. It heads to the full House. It's a big debate, and I know that Senator Ruckty made a good point. You know, are we debating this policy or this idea of how Congress should act? So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the House.
All right, we'll keep tabs on that. Thank you very much, Joe.